We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for other men's. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices. I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. But you know, the wouldn't let you have it any other way.
Good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Wraith. It is the fans forum, and we've got somebody's mobile. Is that a nice cream van or something passing there?
That's mine, Steve. Sorry.
Oh, it's all right, Alan. Don't worry. Welcome along.
Let me show you. Bye.
Love a 99 with monkey's blood.
Alan, that was brilliant. Anyway, welcome along. NUFC.
Sorry about that, lads. Sorry about that.
Fans forum. Tom's here. Barry, Ian, Pablo, Alan, Kevin, and welcome to Stu as well. No professionals this week and no appearance on Wednesday night show from Stu, so we thought we'd get him on to here. He kindly obliged as well. So match day, Newcastle taking on West Ham, 8 o'clock kick-off at St James's Park. And following our wins over Arsenal and Nottingham Forest, Newcastle are looking to register 3 successive Premier League victories for the first time since September 2023. That would then take us up to 6th place if we can get this 3 points. 1 point up the Champions League spots. Chelsea, Arsenal and Brighton occupying 3rd, 4th and 5th, all on 22 points at the moment. Big game tonight, of course, always a big display. War flags have asked the people who are in their seats 10 minutes before kick-off for their latest display, especially those in the Leazes and lower. So if you're watching this and on your way to the match, listening to this on your way to the match, whatever, get in 10 minutes before if you're in the Leazes Lend or team news. Sven Botman, Jamal Lascelles are still out. Emil Kraft's joined them on the sick list as well. Going to be out for a couple of months, unfortunately. Dan Burn will be serving his 1-match ban tonight. Fabian Shaw, Joe Linton are both one booking away from a similar fate as well. Callum Wilson might feature tonight as well. First time he'll have been involved for many, many months, but there is an air of caution around that. And Kieran Trippier has returned to training, but it was expected that tonight would come too soon. Fabian Shaw is looking to hit the 200 games mark in all competitions for the club, while Tino Livramento will reach 50 if he plays tonight. And Alexander Isak will be looking to score his 4th successive Premier League goal in as many games, and he's 5th in all competitions, which would be a first time for Alexander Isak. Along with Spurs, incidentally, West Ham are Isak's most favoured opponent. He scored 5 times against them so far. Callum Wilson also likes to hit the net against the Hammers. He's hit half a dozen when facing both Burnley and Everton, but he's hit 5 against West Ham as well. As for West Ham, Nicholas Fulkrug remains out, but Alphonse Areola has returned to the squad. Mixed bag for them on the road. They have won at Crystal Palace, drawn at Fulham and Brentford, but they've lost at Liverpool, Spurs and Forest. And the manager has been to St James's Park before when he was in charge of Wolves. They were beaten 2-1 by Newcastle back in March 2023. The referee tonight is Craig Pawson. It's his third appearance this season, looking after a Newcastle fixture. He was in the middle for the 1-0 home win over Southampton and the 0-0 draw at Everton. And the VAR official tonight is Chris Kavanagh. So, a big game, Tom, because it's our next one. But this is a real chance for Newcastle to get back amongst the runners and riders. Queer Premier League, this is, results are very, very strange. Man City, of course, losing 5 in a row now, but never write them off. But there's just a feeling of optimism going into tonight's game from Newcastle fans, I guess, and rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely. If I was a West Ham fan, I'd be nervous of all heck. I was a little disappointed with Eddie with the pre-match conference because I wanted him to really talk up Callum Wilson because that would have scared the hell out of him. I hope Callum Wilson makes the bench because he does have quite the games against West Ham, and I know Antonio would be shaking in his boots. So I would call for that. Yeah, I think we're going to have a statement win today. Under the lights at St. James, we're on a run. West Ham has not been in the first form. Their fans are turning on their manager, asking for Moyes back. I think that's hilarious. So, I think this is going to be a really, really good match for the Toon. I look us to set up exactly the way we did last match. I don't think there's going to be any changes with the exception of Kelly coming in for Byrne. That's forced. Although I think it's a perfect match for Tonali. If I was West Ham, there's other people on here that are smarter than me, but I think that they're going to they'd be really happy with getting a point. So they're going to play with a few men behind the ball, play a counter-attacking football, and I think that Tonali is better placed than Longstaff for that. But Longstaff deserves a spot on the team. He's done nothing wrong. He's been really good. So I'm incredibly excited. I think the last time I saw a match, the Toon play, my hair was black, and now it's pretty gray. So it's been a long time. So, we're really excited here.
Great stuff. Barry, the man who starts rumours on Tyneside. It's funny, Barry, we asked you to do a list, as we always did, about players that are linked with Newcastle United. You've chose to start now for the January transfer window. Did I hear you say it's up to 50?
50 tonight.
Wow. 50 tonight, but you jokingly were suggesting, was it Sergio Ramos coming to Newcastle? Have a paper run with that story tonight.
That was the Mickey Mouse story that was on a very weak website, not a particularly strong football storyline. And yet tonight, the Shields Gazette has gone and ran with it as their main football story on the back page that Ramos is going to sign for the Toon.
Wow.
Newcastle have approached him. It's just, I nearly fell off my chair at work when I turned it on.
That's probably the Daily Star. Surely that's the Daily Star, Barry.
It's the back page of the Gazette tonight. It just shows the level of comedy that just. I mean, it might, who knows? It might be true. He wants 180 grand a week, and he's currently without a club. He's only 38-year-old, and he has 182 caps for Spain. So apparently,
maybe they're going to fill the trophy cabinet with all of his caps just to wait.
I'm going to be scared to mention anything else. I am, Steve.
Oh well.
Stu apparently is going to sign as our new number 6 next week. That's.
If that makes the back pages, we definitely know your stories are being taken seriously. Anyway, Barry, we didn't come on to talk about that. We came on to talk about Newcastle's game against West Ham, live on Sky tonight, of course, 8:00. Great to be doing a show as a bit of a build up to it as well. What's your feelings about this? I mean, I heard Tom there. Tom's reiterating what a few people have said on social media. Some people feel, with Bruno doing all this travelling and stuff, Tonali's had to travel as well. But people are saying Tonali should maybe get a chance tonight. We know there's going to be a change in the centre-half position. We know that Lloyd Kelly's going to come in and replace Dan Burn because of his suspension. Is there anything else you would change, Barry? Or, are you one of these who feels that Bruno should be dropped? I just feel Bruno's been hitting form.
it's really hard, isn't it? Because you've got the whole thing that when Longstaff plays, we perform better under whatever reason that is. He seems to allow the players around him to improve their game, and we have a great record when he plays. But like you say, Steve, Bruno is hitting form. Tonali, when he's played, looks superb. How does he fit them all in? He's got people chomping at the bit to try and get in the side now, which is a great thing for us. But it's a shame that he can't find a way to get Bruno and Tonali in the same team. It doesn't seem to be something that Howe's found a way of doing it yet. I think it'll be a great match. I really do. I think we've got nothing to lose against West Ham. They're struggling. They're turning on themselves. Like Tom said, their fans are turning on the manager, so their confidence is rock bottom. I think, for me, would you take a chance on Wilson? Probably not. Isaac's in the form of his life. I mean, he scored again for Sweden the other night. Was it right? He missed a penalty, and he had another goal ruled offside as well. And you think he is on fire. You wouldn't mess about and put Wilson in and amongst this game. I would give him a couple of games after this to get back into the side. But yeah, I'm well up for it. I mean, the top six if we win tonight. Like you say, getting closer to the European games. The only thing for me is if we do win tonight and we're up to that position, then we need to spend in January. We need to invest in the squad to keep that momentum going, which obviously we're getting linked with plenty of players. It's whether or not the cash is there to bring people in. I would love to see us go on and sign a couple of decent players, including a striker. And obviously, like everybody else, a right winger, a right midfielder. We're being linked again today with a couple of the right midfielders. The stories around him, Burmo, seem to be dying off because he's looking at potentially players from PSV by the sound of it tonight. But yeah, great game, home. Like Tom said, under St James's Park, we should be looking at 3 points, hopefully.
And your big mate's not here tonight, so I thought I would put this on in his memory there. Obviously, Darren's on his way to the match. So there's a picture of some Murphy's draft for Darren. I'm sure when he sits back and watches this, when he gets in tonight, he'll enjoy that. Maybe he's even get him some for Christmas in the Secret Santa, Barry.
It's an idea, definitely.
Ian, welcome, mate. Yeah, good to see you. Give us your views about tonight, mate. And just like the lads have, really. What's your feelings with the team, and who would you change? Would you give Tonali a run out? There seems to be a clamour amongst Newcastle fans. Give Tonali a chance to play.
Play Tonali and Bruno together. I would. I think this is the ideal match. I'd play Tonali in the middle and put Bruno and push Bruno a bit further forward. Personally. It's an hard one who you drop, really, because to be fair to Sean, he's not put a foot wrong, but he has played the majority of recent matches, and I think Tonali's performances when he's come on have shown the quality he's got. So that's just my thoughts. But it's 6 and 2 threes. It could be any of them. There could be. We never know what he's going to do anyway, do we? Let's be honest. Eddie will throw in a curveball every selection, so I look forward to seeing what he does. The other thing is Barry said, "What you got 50 people we've been linked with already."
Yeah,
that's a few less than the clubs that Isak's been told that he's going to. Anyway, isn't it?
Definitely.
Have you seen how many clubs are buying Isak in January? Friggin' hell, man. He'll be on £800,000 a week. He'll have his pick when everyone's getting him. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Need the money to buy these 50 players.
Oh, no, because we have no money. We can't spend anything because we spent so much in the last 2 windows. You know what I mean? 10 million or something. You know what I mean? Anyhow, so we're not going about that. Leave that to the professionals. But yeah, no, it's. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a good game tonight. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people have been saying. I think they'll come out fighting. But I think when did we play them last? When we came back to beat them 4-3. I don't think it'll be as tight as that. But I think won't be as easy as people are saying. They're not a terrible team. They've just not been playing well. So yeah. I think it'll be a good game.
Okay, good stuff. You nicely segued into the professionals. There's Stu. Welcome, Stu. Thanks for coming on tonight, mate. Yeah, we talked briefly about last night, but the match day is here. Any feelings with regards to the lineup tonight? What do you think Eddie should do, and what do you think Eddie will do?
I said last night, well, what he'll do and what I'd like him to do are going to be two different things. But for me, I think you've got a squad. We had an excuse last season when we had to keep churning out the same 11. We don't have that excuse now. And we have a deeper squad, or at least higher quality for the top 15, 16. And they need to be utilised. And I think the phrase I used yesterday was horses for courses. And I think Stevie Wonder could see that West Ham are going to come and sit and try and hit us on the break. So what we need is someone with, or players with the ability to find that pass, to keep pushing forward. And this is, for me, and I said it, and I'll repeat myself, no slight on Sean Longstaff, but I would be playing Tonali tonight without a shadow of a doubt. Now I was going to open up with looking at Lee, or Pablo as he's called on here, because I lived in Lancaster for 2.5 years, so I did 3 winters there. And believe me, November is the coldest month. The wind just bites through you, even when you've got the heating on. The wind bites through you. It's terrible. So I've got every sympathy for you, mate, sitting there with your tracksuit zipped up and everything else. Now we think we'll have a cold up in Newcastle. I swear to you, you've seen nothing like it until you go and live there. You might as well be out of Hebrides or something. It's really bad. But so,
still managed to get his arse out when he walked off camera, though, didn't he?
He did. But I wasn't looking at that. But I'll leave that to you, Ian. You know, I didn't come on this channel as my short sport.
That's me only fault.
Yeah, getting back to the football, which is why we're here. I have seriously no doubt in my mind at all that we will win comprehensively tonight. And I know we're, as lifelong Newcastle fans as we all are, we're trained not to think like that, because when you expect it, it doesn't happen. But for me, it goes down to just the attitude. And anyhow laid the gauntlet down to them, and they've bid it. And they've risen to the occasion, and they've shown what they're capable of. So if they go on that pitch tonight with the right attitude, which I fully expect them to do so, I honestly think we're going to win very, very comfortably tonight.
Great stuff, Kev. What's your views, mate, on the lineup tonight? Do you think we might see a surprise? There was talk about Anthony Gordon maybe having a slight knock, coming back from the international duties as well. So, do you think we might see a surprise tonight, or are you expecting, if everyone's fit, pretty much the same with the exception of the centre half change?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it's going to, like Stu coined the phrase of horses for courses, but I've just pulled up a little app what I have, and interestingly, I'm not worried about how we're going to play, because I think it'll be put down, intensity in the face, trying to play, stop them, try to break them down, is the Newcastle United way, what we expect under Eddie Howe. But I looked at it, and they played in their last game against Everton at home. They played a 4-1-4-1. So that's interesting in terms of a tactical battle, because I look at it from that side. And again, the midfield area is going to be key in how they adopt our potential press. How are they going to go long ball in Antonio if he plays, and win the first and second ball with 4 players higher up the pitch? That's going to be very intriguing to me, and how we deal with that. And plus, you've got Kelly and Shaw, who are quite happy to just win balls in the air all the time. But again, it's that midfield area. If you have Tonali picking up the pieces as the number 6, or you have Bruno picking up pieces, again, we'll have that versatility and that depth to do so. Again, it's only going to be very interesting. It's how they're going to play. And I'm not worried about how we're going to play, because I think we're going to go at them and make it really difficult for them to create opportunities, score goals. They've only scored 1 in the last 3, or 2 in the last 3. Sorry, so I mean they're not firing on all cylinders. But yeah, I think it'll be much of a muchness. There might be just maybe one. I think I agree with a lot of the lads that Longstaff might be the one dropping out, just on the transitional phase of the game, because I think Tonali's better at that than Longstaff is, even though Longstaff does all the dirty work, the hard work, breaking up the play. Yes, he likes to play ball forward, but I don't think it's a more of a killer instinct type of pass to unlock a door. I think it's just to get the attack moving. So yeah, I'm excited for it, to be honest, because I got a day off today, so all week actually, because it's Thanksgiving over here, so we've got a week off, so it's nice, and I can actually sit and enjoy and watch the game without worry about going to work. So yeah, I'm positive about it. West Ham obviously a great club, but at the same time, we've got the games like these. We have to put them to the sword and go on this consistent run that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, and we're on this consistent run, so we'll have to keep it going. And these are the games, especially when you want to get into the European conversation and in Champions League or whatever European football we aspire to go to. You have to go and win these games, and it's not a scruffy 1-0. I'll take it, but it's still a win. But you have to go and put 3 or 4 past them and really cement your position in the top 6 as of tonight, if it all goes well.
A statement result is what Kev's after, definitely. Yep. Alan, I saw you nodding away there when we were talking a little bit earlier about, let's hope it's not one of those games where, everyone's expecting 3s and 4s and Newcastle serve up a 1-0 defeat. But on paper, this game, Newcastle really should be winning this game and should be putting 3 or 4 past West Ham. And West Ham tomorrow should be doing what Leicester have done and sacking their manager after that performance. But we know football can change. We know if you let your standards drop in the Premier League, then things have got a habit of biting you on the backside. I think what Kev said there, I think you're probably going to reiterate it, but this needs to be a performance that Newcastle put in that's a statement that we're going for something this season.
Spot on, Steve. I couldn't agree more with Kevin and Stu and the lads have said. I'm more nervous about tonight, lads, than I am, say, Liverpool in the next home game, because I've been on 3 West Ham podcasts and they're all saying we're going to get hammered. And I just hate these type of games where the onus is on us to win. My heart, my head says 3 or 4-0, but I'm going for a 2-1. I think it'll just be one of them games where we'll have to grind it out and people will be, but if you think about it, lads, if we win tonight and we win on Saturday, no matter what happens on Saturday night, we'll be 3rd. Just bearing in mind, if we beat Crystal Palace tonight, jumping ahead. And I couldn't agree more what Stu said last night on the professionals. We must win these type of games, and Kevin said before, because we play all our hard games away. We might be right up there till Christmas, but we play all our hard games away after Christmas. Man U, whether you like them or not, Man U, Spurs, Man City, Liverpool, we'll play them in the second part of the season. So we must keep this run going, lads, and keep it going well. If we do tonight, breed more confidence, keep it on a roll, and basically I want to see just one change, like Kelly. He's never let us down so far. Like the last performance, he played well. We've got 2 players on bookings, lads. We want them get booked in the next couple of games, no, because I don't want either one of them to miss the Liverpool game. So I'm nervous, tension, Steve, as a Newcastle fan. I'm just thinking of things that have gone wrong and more than what should go right, really. But we should be positive and confident of winning tonight. But all my head says, we've let ourselves down so many times in the past. We had a chance to go and top the league against Fulham away and we blew that, But since then, we've come on, and there's no doubt we're a more informed team than West Ham, because the West Ham fans, if we hammer them tonight, they'll be taken by the fans. They'll want them sacked tomorrow. No doubt about that. But I'm looking forward to it, but we're nervous, tension, and I just want to win.
Yeah, Pablo, it's it's been said like the international break probably came at the wrong time for Newcastle, but got a chance here really to hit the ground running again and get back on that momentum train.
I'd say exactly that, mate. And I know there's the only change I'd make, and that is just to back up exactly what you said. Momentum in football is a big thing. We've just started to gather some of that, so I wouldn't make any changes unless they're forced, and we obviously know the forced change. So for me, if I was a manager looking at it, I know obviously some of the lads need a chance like Tyne, but I think tonight West Ham's one of them. It's a very kind of toxic club and has been for a few years. They always baffle me, West Ham. They've always got a decent starting lineup or good players, but but they can never get the other factors of the club going. I mean, we've experienced that massively at our club, haven't we? Under the fat lad. So I think the abscess at West Ham at the moment, I'd keep our team exactly how it is, just to give us that extra springboard into the Liverpool match. I wouldn't kind of mess around with things. What we can't do is underestimate West Ham. I mean, for the first time, I usually come on here and I err on the side of caution because I've always got that Newcastle syndrome in the back of my head that will come undone. But I think tonight I'm going to release that a bit because I do think we'll beat them, and I think it'll be possibly a 3-1, possibly 3-0. And just scoping down the fixtures then. I mean, I spoke about it a while back, and I've just double checked again. If we get a win tonight, and even if we get a draw at Liverpool, or let's say we grab a result, there is no team in December that can't suggest to us that we can't go all of December unbeaten. You look at the fixtures, there's no big hitters in there. The only team that comes up really is at the early January. There's Tottenham, and we seem to have a good do on Tottenham at the minute. So I'm quietly confident, mate. I think the last thing we should do is underestimate West Ham because you never know, like you say, in the Premier League, and they have got decent players. You know, they could spring something up out of nowhere. But I don't, Eddie Howe, we're not that kind of club. Eddie Howe's not that kind of manager, and we have a hard-working group that wouldn't allow that to happen. I don't think they'd go in resting on the laurels. But yeah, positive, mate. Looking forward to it, actually. I'm off to my mum and dad's. As Stu said, it's very cold in Lancaster, so the missus is upstairs filling the hot water bottles up so we can travel down.
Not joking either, you know. He's really
no, mate, I'm not. So yeah, I'm going to do a GoFundMe for my heating and electricity. As well as my OnlyFans walking upstairs before hanging out.
I've seen a lot of people commenting about Sky's coverage tonight. Francis Chip, he's if you're on Twitter, you'll have seen him, I'm sure, wind people up on numerous occasions. He put this: tonight's broadcast of Newcastle United versus West Ham United has been cancelled. Instead, Jamie Carragher and guest Theo Walcott will be doing a full rewatch and analysis of Ruben Amorum's first game in charge of Manchester United. Very, very true. It's what you'll expect. Certainly that first
special
half
guest, special guest Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, that will be funny.
And Roy Keane.
And Roy Keane. All right, halfway through the show, time for the ads.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. Thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. Their website is mrvickies.co.uk. Email them, info@mrvickies.co.uk. or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. Congratulations to them on their Travel and Tourism Award 2024. 2-crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels, no interchanges. All excursions included. Find them at their website www.unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com. Telephone 01670 632 460 or mobile 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And don't forget, we are also available as a podcast on iTunes and Spotify and other podcast providers. If you get the time, please hit the subscribe button. It does do us a big favour. Hit the like button, which is the thumb under the video. That helps the channel grow. And click share to share to your other social medias. You can also hit the join button and become a member. Some dates for your diary. In aid of Newcastle Cat and Dog Shelter, the Long Sands play the Clooney. That takes place on Saturday, January the 4th, 2025, with support from Lilac Lane and the Chris Norris Band. Tickets pre-sale are £15 from newcastlelegends.com or from the venue direct. Peter Beardsley will be doing a talk-in at the Tyneside Irish Centre. That takes place on the 10th of January. Tickets are £30. VIP tickets are £60 and you can get them from newcastlelegends.com. An Evening with the Entertainers takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House in Newcastle on the 24th of January. Kevin Scott, Steve Watson, Steve Howie, John Beresford, Rule Fox, Peter Beardsley, Rob Lee, Keith Gillespie, Liam O'Brien, Darren Peacock, Paul Bracewell, Lee Clark and Killer Kill Klein are all going to be there with Gibbo, and you can get your tickets from the box office 0191 243 1171 or the website tynetheatreandoperahouse.uk. Lee Clark will be at the Gateshead Leisure Centre. That is on the 31st of January, and tickets available from the Leisure Centre 0191 250 5066. Les Ferdinand will be at the Newcastle O2 City Hall the 6th of April 2025. That is a 12 o'clock start until 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Tickets available from ticketmaster.co.uk. And Will Scott's book on the Entertainers is out now. £18.99, over 380 pages, and a lot of unseen photographs. You can buy that book now from newcastlelegends.com. And we do have some fanzines remaining. If you want to buy an NUFC Matters fanzine, issue 1 is still available, again from newcastlelegends.com. And please take your time to flip onto our other channel, The Word on Blake 7. Please hit the subscribe button and help that channel grow.
Don't forget the Christmas party tickets are on sale. Nobby Solano is the special guest. Tickets are tenner in aid of Newcastle Cat and Dog Shelter. Saturday, 28th of December. Tickets on sale now via newcastlelegends.com. And those of you waiting for your fanzine, the next one will be posted out this week, probably Wednesday. Should be hitting, if you live in the UK, your letterboxes round about Friday or Saturday. So keep an eye out for it. Another action-packed issue of NUFC Matters. I want to talk to the lads now about Mark Gahey. We Are Palace have run a story today to suggest that it could still be that he moves out of the club in the next transfer window in January. Pablo, I'm going to give you the honour of starting first on this one rather than you having to wait. So, yeah, what's your views on this? Would you go back for Mark Gahey now? I mean, for me, Newcastle do still need to recruit at the back. Is it a necessity with Sven Botman coming back in, or should we go back in for Gahey? I mean, it wasn't him who was causing the issues. I think it was his club. But sounds like he won't sign a new contract because he wants Champions League football next season. He's not going to get that at Palace.
For me, Bud, I know a lot of the lads will probably disagree, but for me, yeah, I would, because I rate him as a player. I like you say, all the nonsense that went on with the to and fro, and is probably not down to the lad himself. I reckon, given half the chance, if he'd have had the contract to sign and go, I think he would have done. So I don't think we can hold that against him. I know we kind of sometimes think footballers have much of a say in this. They're sometimes the last to know. At the end of the day, if they're contracted at another club, 9 times out of 10 they get told where they're going. So I don't think we can hold it against the lad. I would go back in with him, but again, we're going to come up with this stumbling block. Are Palace going to start playing hardball again? Because they lost their other centre-back, haven't they? And Palace are not particularly having a great season. So I don't know. I think they'll probably play hardball again, because there won't just be us in for him. There'll be a number of clubs, so it'll probably be a bidding war. But for me, the lad fits the bill. What is he? 23, 24 at that. He's English. So for us progressing into the Champions League, which is where we want to be, he would fill one of our kind of English homegrown slots. For me, it's a bit of a no-brainer. If you look at the player as he is, it's a no-brainer. However, the stumbling block is the finance, and then it limits us going elsewhere for firepower. But again, do you know what? If Wilson comes back and he gets in some kind of shape or fitness, and he maybe starts bagging now and then, maybe the striker doesn't become so important till the end of the year. So, yeah, in a short answer, mate, yeah, I'd go back in for him, but I certainly wouldn't be having our pants pulled down.
Okay, good stuff. Alan, thoughts on Mark Gahey? It looks like his time at Crystal Palace is definitely going to come to an end. Would you go back in for him? Do you feel a little bit let down with the backwards and forwards that was going on between us and the club? Will Palace deal with us? I guess it's not up to them in so many ways. That time's running out for them, and the player is devaluing as each month goes by, and could lose him on a free.
100%. See, Pablo nailed it. To be honest, the player's got no say in where he goes and what. And if you heard Steve Parris talking about players and selling them on, he says he wouldn't stand in their way if they went to a bigger club. So I always look at the long-term picture, lads. Burns 32, 33, Trippier 34. You know, we say we don't need a necessity now, but 3 of the players are well short, 32, 33. All of them will be gone in 18 months, surely, lads. There won't be food. So if you have Tino, you have Hall, you have Gahey, there's 3/4 of the England defence playing for you with Botman, and then you've got Lascelles as backup and Burn, you know, as squad players. I think, you know, looking long term ahead, if you get a couple of injuries, you know, you'll need a centre half. And we've always said the lads that are playing now are starting to decline. Trippier's starting to decline. Shaw's starting to decline. I think we should go for him. But like Pablo said again, as long as we don't get our pants pulled down, as long as it's between 35, 40 million, I'll accept that. And then if we sell Amron, maybe. It's like Stu said on the professionals, it's about selling players, lads, as well. We've got to start selling players as much as we want to buy players. And the players will want to sell, not the players we don't, like Isak. Like people have, like you mentioned before about Isak being mentioned, you know, like, would we sell him for 130 million, Tom? Would we actually do that? Because we're going 3 steps back, in my opinion. We've got to keep them players until we want to sell them. But getting back to the point, yeah, I would 100% if he's willing to come. But like Pablo says again, there'll be other clubs in for him as well.
Okay, I can see Darren in the chat saying sell Murphy. You need to watch it back, Darren, when you get in the house. You see a little tribute to Murphy in the first half. Kevin, thoughts on Mark Gahey? It was a transfer saga that went on and on. We don't like them because it's getting played out in public. And Eddie Howe, of course, dropping into his press conference at the weekend that, we certainly didn't get anywhere near that price of 65 million. So interesting to hear what Newcastle probably value the player at. But his price will be going down as each month ticks by. The player wants Champions League football. Palace may well cash in now that they know that the player isn't going to commit.
Absolutely, and they don't want another. What's his name? Can't remember the lad's name. Went to Turkey. Zaha, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, they don't want another scenario of that, and I think they probably would cash in again. But for me, and the lads have said, Alan and Pablo said, it has to be at the right price for me. It has to be the right deal for us. If we go in again, because I think Palace and Parish is a bit of an arse to deal with. Really, he manipulates media, manipulates how his own players essentially, and to try and get them to stay in and out the club, all the above. So for me, I would test the water and see if they're willing to do a deal. If that deal is unattainable for the club, then I would just walk away and find somebody else. And it's simple as that, to be perfectly honest. Again, I don't want the club's pants pulled down, to be perfectly honest. It's happened too many times in the past. But for me, like Alan said, it's 3/4 of the potential future England back four. If things go well in performance and all of the above. So I would test the water, see what Palace resolve is. If not, and if they want 60, 70, 80 million, well, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. Yeah. And then just move on and find somebody different, or find another diamond within Europe or within the Premier League. But I know Eddie Howe likes English Premier League proven players, which is going to be very difficult to find within a January market. But that's down to the Paul Mitchells of the world and down to the recruitment team to pull the finger out and find a diamond or a blue chip player, as we will call them.
Yeah, big January for Paul Mitchell and big summer as well on the horizon. Yes, Stu, Mark Gahey, it sounds promising as far as we're concerned with regards to the player. Certainly wants to, keep his options open. And will we go back in, do you think, in your opinion?
Yeah, I gave my thoughts last night, Steve, so I don't want to over-elaborate again. And it's something that Pablo said, it's not the player's decision. I think if he had the choice, he'd be wearing the black and white stripes. So I'll just take this opportunity to make a little caption to say I've done podcasts before with a couple of the lads but to Barry and to Ian and to Alan and to Pablo, it's the first time. So thank you for making me feel welcome. I've really enjoyed it. It's quite busy keeping up with the chat, like when it's me and Mitch, we're so busy drinking and typing on the chat. But it's been good, and I've enjoyed it. So Gay, I think, is someone that they've done a lot of homework on. And why would they give up if there's an opportunity to get them in cheaper? But I think the general consensus is if they haven't been given the heads up, there is a possibility they'll move on very quickly. So it'll either get done early or won't get done at all.
Yeah.
All right, Ian, would you go back in for him?
Yeah, definitely. It's no surprise he's had a dip in form because he wanted. Well, okay. All the reports are that he was happy to move to Newcastle and he was keen on the move. Steve Parish, obviously, he's a bit of a social climbing arse licker, to put it nicely. Trying to stick his tongue up the rim of every red-shirted Premier League team, and he's well. I think he might have seen his arse a little bit with his shareholders because they probably would have liked 70 million allegedly, you know, and they're probably going to get 40 million now, aren't they? You know what I mean? Because he's not, after his performances this season, his value probably has dropped. Maybe 40, 50 million I'd pay for him, but he's a great passer of the ball for a centre back. That's what I see. But then with coaching and his natural pace, I think he could be a really, really good player for us. You've seen in the Euros what he can do. So yeah, I'll go back in for him. And I reckon 40, 50 million is a good price for a good player.
Do you reckon he'll play alongside Sergio Ramos?
Well, I tell you what, fucking play alongside him. You have to see that little segment of play that you put on the other day.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I decided.
Steve, before you go to Barry, can I just jump in? I'm watching Alan and Mozza have a chat in the chat. And it reminds me of when I'm in Dubai without the missus. And it's like, I'm just going here, I'm just doing this, I'm just going here. And he's know exactly what he's doing. I wouldn't say with the thumb, but I'll admit I am because you're sitting here watching us. So, yes, I'm totally with the thumbs. You're in good company, Alan, but well done.
It's funny, somebody's just said they've seen him in the Beehive. Barry,
I don't know who this is.
Barry, thoughts, Mark Gahey?
I'm going to be the opposite for a change. I wouldn't deal with Crystal Palace again. I think the chairman's an arse. I think there's better players out there than Gay. I know we've had this huge thing hanging over him that he's English and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. I mean, when you get a chance to look at the list, Steve, there's at least 5 or 6 top quality centre backs in amongst that list that we are linked with. And I know it's probably a lot of it is just clickbait and this, that, and the other. But there's plenty of players out there who are as good as Gay, who might not be English, but would slot straight into the Premier League. It just, Crystal Palace took the pee. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you want to put yourself back in that situation again? Nothing's changed. The guy's like Ian so eloquently put it there. The guy's a bit of a whatever. But you just, for me, I want to walk away from deals like that. You don't want to deal with knackers like that. We've got enough people to go after. And I mean, to be honest, we don't need a defender. We don't need him. We've got Murphy on the bench who's desperate to get his chance. We've got Kelly, hopefully tonight will prove that he is up for the amount of support that people are giving him. We've got, I'm not saying Alan's totally right. You've got to look at the defence and you've got to look at their ages, but they'll get us through this season. You know what I mean? Then we'll look in the summer at a centre half. We need another striker. I honestly believe Wilson could put his shirt on tonight. He could strain his eyebrow and he could be out for another 68 games. You know what I mean? I don't trust him to get fit, and I don't want to trust him. And I think we need this right-sided midfielder. I mean, don't get us wrong. I think Joe Linton's been an absolute star with being able again to move into that position. But we want somebody who's going to be there long term. That's where I would be going. We want a young player who's going to be turned into the style of Eddie Howe and who's going to be the opposite side of the pitch to Anthony Gordon, then we move forward. The defence can look after itself this season. The defence is doing really well. I mean, we've all said how few goals we're letting in the defence. Do we need to go back for Gay? No. Personally, no.
All right.
We've got
Fair
other
enough.
priorities.
Fair enough, Barry. Good news for Alan. It seems that his flatulence has sorted itself out, Mozza. Wind seems to have died down, apparently. So, Tom, last but by no means least, your views on Mark Gahey. Would you go back in for him if you were Newcastle manager?
Well, it's Paul Mitchell's window. I mean, he talked a couple weeks ago at the Stack about him and Eddie are communication, that they're talking. So I have to say I'm going to trust the process. I was really excited about Gay over the summer, but like a lot of us, we got a little turned off about dealing with Parrish and dealing with Palace and kind of be pulled over the barrel. There's rumor we offered 50 or 50 something million for him. So I guess we have that money to spend. It would be nice, I think, for the good of the team, if we got rid of some players, Miggy, Trippier, even Wilson. I think they probably have run their course here. I know Wilson, well, all three of those could play a part, but we got to get younger. We got to be a little bit more aggressive with getting the younger players signed. As Barry said, if Wilson pulls an eyebrow, he's gone for the rest of the year. He'd be gone on a free. So I think it's time to sell. I really do. So I'm not. I'm just going to trust the process. It's Paul Mitchell's window. Would I like him? It depends on value for money. If Eddie wants him, that means a lot to me. But I'm going to see how the window plays out. But I agree 100% with Stu, is that if we get him, it's going to be early, or it's going to be the last day of the window. But we got to do something early, and I hope that maybe Trippier was the last person that was signed before the window started. I mean, that was the last one I can remember. I could be wrong there. I'd like to have this done early, and I think Paul Mitchell, it's his window. Let's judge him then. Okay, great stuff. Finishing off, so you guys can get off and go about your business and watch the homage to Man United for the first half hour. Give us your prediction, Tom, for the match tonight. I'm going 3-0. 3-0 to Newcastle. Barry?
In honour of our honoured guest, Mr. Penman, I'm going to go with a 3-1.
3-1. I've gone 2-1, Ian. What are you going to go for, Ian? Are you going to mute yourself and give us your prediction?
Thanks for reminding me of that, Steve. I've had a few beers on the slide down earlier before Emily's home. I have since Stu's on, I'll go 3-1. 2-1, 3-1.
3-1. Okay, we know what Stu's prediction is, and we know what his prediction was last night. Kevin?
4-1.
4-1. Okay. Alan, are you joining me on the pessimism steps still and going for the 2-1?
Yeah. Me head says 5-0, Steve, but me heart says 2-1. So I'm going
Darren's shrunk, can he?
Other way around.
Pablo, you said 3-0.
Yeah, let's go 3-0. Let's go super positive. But I want to give you an update. The reason why Darren's not on tonight, he's doing the warm-up rubs for Jacob Murphy. So he's had to get off early. So Jacob's invited him down. So he's currently rubbing Jacob down, apparently.
I love it. Thanks to everybody.
I hope you said rubbing and not robbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody for joining us in the chat. Thanks to the moderators. Thanks to Pablo, Alan, to Kevin, to Ian, to Barry, to Tom, and our special guest tonight, Stu. Back tomorrow, 1:30. Talk of the tune. See you then. Take care. Bye-bye.